some days it's much harder to show up than others, especially when sentiments are low, vibes are low, you're not feeling the best, but you still committed to something and committed to showing up for yourself every day. And those are the moments when it's truly the hardest to show up despite, how you're feeling. And, I talk about Bitcoin a lot on this channel, and especially with Bitcoin, it's a lot harder to, show up when sentiments are low in the market, but usually that represents the best opportunity. There's this saying in Bitcoin and trading in general, be greedy when others are fearful and be fearful when others are greedy. So, when vibes are low, not as many people are talking about it. And just in general in life, those low moments, those are truly the moments, I believe, where you show up, show your conviction, and you'll be rewarded. And with something like Bitcoin, when the price is low, that's when each dollar you exchange for Bitcoin is going to buy you more sats than before. And I'm guilty of this too, right? Throughout my Bitcoin journey, I definitely have not taken advantage of dips as much as I would like to, especially when Bitcoin dipped from around 70K or high 60s to down to 20K and below. I was still holding my Bitcoin. I still believed it in the long term, but I really should have doubled down then and accumulated more. Like I said, be greedy when others are fearful. I would have stacked much more sats for the dollar. And, there's no perfect strategy, and I was still buying some, but I really should have accelerated at that time. And, that's just a lesson you learn going through multiple cycles and just going through more experience in life in general. And then, be fearful when others are greedy, when everyone around you is super optimistic, super bullish, super, reckless, you could say. Then maybe that's the time to, maybe take a step back, maybe do some more reevaluation, like things like that, reflecting on what you want and your next move. And that's the time to just reevaluate your choices. And when everyone is down, that's the time to really build something that will last. So for me, with making YouTube videos, it's always been something that's been in the back of my mind that I've wanted to do, but I've had trouble just committing to it, and then months would go by and I wouldn't post at all. So that's why I committed to posting daily here on YouTube. And some days it is really tough. It's tough to show up when the views are low, things like that. I'm talking about Bitcoin a lot. The Bitcoin market isn't necessarily super bullish right now. Obviously, I believe it will get there, but it's hard to show up in those times. And I think YouTube views are somewhat correlated with Bitcoin's price as well. It's just when more people are interested. But this is the time to stack content and stack sats, right? Every video that I make now is it's like purchasing future real estate on, Bitcoin land on YouTube, right? These videos will last on YouTube, and in the future, could get more views as more people start becoming interested in Bitcoin. And by stacking videos, I'm also stacking, the practice, the muscle of making videos. I'm improving my skill at talking to the camera, things like that. So it's not really wasted time, even though it feels like it when, you post a video and it gets 50 views or whatever. It's not that dopamine hit, that you want to. And it's easy to do that with with YouTube. It's really easy to just keep checking the views hour by hour as they come in. And it's really fun to do that when a video is doing really well. But it's not as fun when the videos aren't doing as well. But that's why I'm showing up here regardless. And I told myself just a video every day, even if it's, I just show up and talk about the sandwich I made for lunch or, something. As long as I'm saying or doing what I said I would do, then that's like a win in my books, right? Because that's like the biggest thing that was like holding me back from, feeling like I gave it my all with YouTube. I was always, stuck wondering what would have happened if I just stayed consistent. And like, I feel like that's a worse feeling than just showing up and getting low views, is like, what could have really happened if I would have tried a little bit harder, or more, at least more consistently at this. I think it's a much worse feeling to not know what could have happened if you tried your best. So, yeah. Again, be greedy when others are fearful. Be fearful when others are greedy. I think that's just a great motto in Bitcoin and in life in general. And like I said with Bitcoin, you're getting more sats per dollar. Most people don't view it that way. They just think Bitcoin's low, it's going lower. It's risky to buy here, but you're exchanging units of fiat money, right? Money created with no cost of production, money created at will, for money that represents the only asset that no one can ever create more of, ever, right? 21 million is the maximum supply. Even with gold, right? Gold is pretty rare and scarce. But if the gold price, went skyrocketing tomorrow, then mining efforts would ramp up like a lot, and no one knows how much gold is truly in the earth, right? No one knows the max supply. There could be a ton. And if you just look at inflation numbers, I watched a video today from the Stat Stacker show with John. He was talking about, I don't remember the exact number, but just the inflation rate of like the gold rush. It was crazy. Like the supply went up way more because the demand went up way more. With Bitcoin, the supply can't go up if the demand goes way up, right? That's the one constraint. With gold, who knows? An asteroid could hit Earth that contains a bunch of gold. Right? It's a naturally occurring element. It's still, a better form of store of value in terms of scarcity than fiat currency, but it's not perfect sound money when you think about the potential supply issuance. So stick to your fundamentals, stick to the daily grind, stick to knowing that Bitcoin is sound money, and exchanging dollars for Bitcoin is potentially a really good opportunity, and just keep going. If I can show up and ramble here for 8 minutes or whatever, then you can too, right? It doesn't take me that much time, but showing up is the most important thing to me. And yeah, that's about it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. That stuff helps out a ton. And yeah, as always, together let's work, save, and build a brighter future with Bitcoin. See you in the next video.